hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things, and today I am very happily giving you my September wrap-up. Now, it is a few days before September actually ends, but it's easier for me to go ahead and film this now, and you guys are also going to see this specific outfit and look for several videos, and it's because I'm about to bulk film, and you know what, generally I would like change or something for that, and I'm not going to do that. So let's get the show on the road and let's talk about September's stats. In the month of September, I read a total of, thank you, you moved on way just in time, 21 books. I read a total of 4,310 pages. For audiobook hours, it was 80 hours and 10 minutes, which as days is 3 days, 8 hours and 10 minutes. My average page per day was 132.8, and my average audio hours per day was 7 hours, 53 minutes, and 43 seconds. My average rating was a 3.7, which was higher than last month. I had really good reads this month, actually, and not a lot of like really terrible reads, so very different than last month, but I expect October to be horrible, so it'll balance out. I purchased a total of 1 book, which cost me $1.99 because it was on Kobo for sale. I checked out 13 library books, which saved me $275.32. I reread 3 books. For the formats of the books I read, 7 of them were audiobooks, 11 of them were ebooks, and 3 of them were physical books. Very rarely do I end up reading more with my eyes than with my ears, but this month was different. This month was just a lot of ebooks because the indie sapphic books I was reading were, I guess, where that was at. The intended audiences of those books, 15 of them were adult, 6 of them were young adult, and I did not read any middle grade or children's books this month. I, for genres, read 1 sci-fi, 4 fantasy, 4 romance, 2 historical, 1 thriller, 4 horror, 1 classic, 3 general nonfiction, and 1 contemporary book. I don't generally read that much nonfiction, so I think I was just saying that out of habit. So, okay, let's talk about the best books I read this month, and then we can talk about the worst books. So, starting off strong, we have The Language of Roses by Heather Rose Jones. This is a Beauty and the Beast sapphic retelling with ace representation, and I just thought that it was a really beautiful retelling. It was not a very long book, and I think some people don't like how floral the writing style is, and generally I struggle with that as well. And there were times where I was like, I have more questions, and those questions weren't necessarily answered, but I felt like the book itself was really beautifully written. I really enjoyed the dynamic between the main character who's supposed to represent, who's supposed to be Belle, and then the sister who's like the Ice Queen, who's like getting turned to stone slowly over time. Their dynamic is not romantic at all, but there is this like sisterhood in it, this women supporting women kind of thing, but then also the dynamic of like relationships with mothers who abandoned you, or mothers who think they're doing the best for you and it's not what's best for you. The dynamic of weird sibling relationships and trying to care about them but not caring for the way that they behave and that kind of thing. I really enjoyed all of that. I thought that it was a very jam-packed story in so few pages to me. And so if you enjoy like kind of gothic-y retellings, I think this is a really good one, especially for the representation alone. I thought that was really done well. Next, we have Nobody in Particular by Sophie Gonzalez, which was a young adult sapphic romance that I read for Sapphic September. Actually, every book on my best books were, actually every book on top and bottom books is for Sapphic September, so there we go. So Nobody in Particular is a princess go to a boarding school. It's not focused on her primarily, it eventually is, but it's primarily focused on our other main character, who is nobody in particular, just at this boarding school. She meets the princess and they slowly start to fall in love. However, the princess is not supposed to be gay. She's just not. The country won't accept it, etc. It feels very red, white, and royal blue, except red, white, and royal blue obviously has both entities are 1, men, and 2 in the political scene, whereas Nobody in Particular, our main character, is not political whatsoever, and the second character is. And so the navigation of that dynamic was really interesting. I felt like it covered a few different topics in a way that I appreciated. Like abusing alcohol when you don't feel great about the way that life is going, how bullying can affect you, how hard social media is as a teenager, just those kinds of things. I thought that it was really well done. I was very emotional reading this book, and I really liked it. I liked the humor of the main characters. I liked all of the like friends that were supporting our main characters and their romance. And then in the end, who like was kind of responsible for outing them was, oh, gasp. Shocking. So I really enjoyed that. Next up, we have Roller Girl by Vanessa North. This is a book, a sapphic book, where our main character is trans femme, and she is incredible. She joins a roller derby team. She used to be a professional wakeboarder and then switches over to doing this roller derby stuff, freshly off of the divorce and like trying to figure her shit out. And she ends up dating the coach, and they have to keep it a secret, and it's this whole ordeal. And this book is not very long, and especially as somebody who generally skips the sex scenes because I don't care to read them, especially in my current state, they make me nauseous. So I don't generally read sex scenes, but this book was also pretty short and very contemporary. I enjoyed it a lot, though. There were moments where I was just crying at the representation itself. And as a big fan of roller derby, I thought it was an incredible book. Just because I've seen trans players on roller derby, I've watched the league change the name of one of their teams specifically because not everyone on their team identifies as a girl. The Rhinestone Cowgirls are now just the Rhinestones, for example. And roller derby means a lot to me. And so it being represented in this book, and it being represented well in this book, was really heartwarming. I didn't care about the romantic dynamic so much, more than I cared about like the character, the main character sort of figuring her shit out and like finding out who she is and that kind of thing. I cared about that a lot more than the romantic dynamic, but the romantic dynamic is a main plot point of this book, so don't go in thinking that it's not. But it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. And those are my top books for the month. Next up, we have my least favorite books for the month. And I hate to start with a nonfiction autobiography, but I'm going to start with a nonfiction autobiography. And that's going to be Accidentally on Purpose by Kristen Kish. Kristen Kish was a winner on Iron Chef and is like very well known in the Food Network. I thought this book was all fluff, which is really unfortunate for an autobiography. Unfortunately, I realize when I'm reading an autobiography, I'm going to need some kind of grit. And even in talking about the things that could have provided some grit to the information, to the story, I know it's your life, but it's still a story. Kristen Kish is gay, was adopted from another country, those kinds of things. It had a minor drug addiction. The way that they were all talked about was so fluffy, and someone in the reviews said that it felt like the world's longest award acceptance speech, and that is what it felt like. I found it very hard to connect at all because when we were talking about tough topics, it was held at such a distance that I felt like even she hasn't connected to it. And some of the things that were brushed off as just her personality, to me imply that maybe some therapy is needed to be had there, maybe before we write an autobiography. I don't know. Who am I to say? You know, I'm not going to armchair diagnose anybody, but I did not enjoy this book as much as I wanted to, and that was really unfortunate. I had a really hard time making myself pick it back up. That was another struggle, where I just did not care. Didn't want to pick it back up. And then the next and last book on my bottom books is going to be The Afterword by E.K. Johnston. Ugh. I was so bored, which is wild. This is a book about knights, and they're gay, and there's this cool, like, this is after the cool thing has happened, and so, like, what do they do now, and this is their news things. And, like, I really generally like those stories. This was boring, and I felt like it had a really hard time finding its footing, and I just think that it could have been done better. It could have been done better, and I hate that, because I really wanted to enjoy it, and I just did not. I don't know how you write a book about gay-ass knights and I find it boring, and yet here we are. Could I tell you anything really interesting about this book? Literally no, because I was so bored I was struggling to pay attention, and I should have DNF'd it, quite frankly. And I've been saying that a lot this year, and I think I need to start DNFing books, because I'm saying that a lot, and I I think that it's time that I start DNFing books, you know? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But that is the wrap up. That is my September wrap up. It has been a good month, a good lead in for Halloween season, and then also clear your shit. I'm trying to clear out as many books as I can before clear your shit starts, so here we are. But that's going to be the video. I post videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time every single week except for the first full week of the month. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. If you did not enjoy this video, I'm so sorry. Let me know in the comments down below if there's something objective that I can make better for you with regards to the video. If it's my opinions, I can't help you with that. Those are going to be my opinions. And if you disagree, then we just disagree with each other, and that's okay. So that's going to be it. I will see you guys later on this week. Don't forget to take your meds, drink your water, and do something today to take care of yourselves. Okay, thanks, bye.